Ambassador Vex-Nine clicked his four mandibles together in what his species considered deep contemplation. The sound echoed through the pristine halls of the Galactic Council's primary station, at each click bouncing off walls that had witnessed the rise and fall of 1,000 civilizations. Today, however, those walls would witness something entirely unprecedented. "Are you absolutely certain about this intelligence report, Commander Flux?" Vex-Nine's voice carried the weight of someone who had just discovered that his morning coffee was actually motor oil. Commander Flux, a 7-foot-tall being whose species looked like someone had crossed a praying mantis with a filing cabinet, rustled his metallic wings nervously. "Sir, our surveillance drones have confirmed it 17 times. The humans have somehow managed to weaponize their own stupidity. Explain." The single word dropped from Vex-Nine's vocal cords like a stone into still water. Flux pulled up a holographic display that shimmered between them like a fever dream made of light. 3 cycles ago, we sent Earth Standard Threat Protocol 7 Alpha, you know the one. Surrender all resources, submit to Galactic Authority, or face complete obliteration. Yes, I remember signing that particular death warrant. Vex-Nine waved a appendage dismissively, standard procedure for pre-warp civilizations that show signs of becoming troublesome. What did they respond with? "A thank you note, sir." The silence that followed could have been sold as a luxury commodity on most civilized worlds. Vex-Nine's primary eyes narrowed while his secondary eyes widened, creating an expression that suggested someone had just told him that mathematics was actually optional. "I beg your pardon?" "A thank you note," Flux repeated, his voice climbing an octave, handwritten. On actual paper. With little hearts dotting the I's, Vex-Nine felt something crack in his understanding of the universe. "Show me." The hologram flickered and displayed what appeared to be a piece of primitive wood pulp with symbols scratched across its surface in blue ink. The message was brief, cheerful, and absolutely terrifying in its implications. "Dear Galactic Council," Flux read aloud, his voice taking on the sing-song quality of someone reading a children's bedtime story. "Thank you so much for your recent correspondence regarding our planet's immediate surrender and destruction. We were honestly getting a bit bored lately, and this sounds like exactly the kind of fun challenge we needed. Looking forward to hearing from you soon. Best wishes, Earth. P.S. We've included a gift basket." "A gift basket," Vex-Nine repeated slowly, as if the words might make more sense if he pronounced them at the speed of continental drift. "Yes, sir." It contained what their intelligence suggests are cookies, a fermented beverage called wine, and something they labeled as tactical advice. "What sort of tactical advice?" Flux's mandibles twitched in what his species used instead of sweating. A single sheet of paper with the words, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" written in crayon. The station's artificial gravity felt heavier somehow, as if the universe itself was developing a headache. Vex-Nine had overseen the conquest of 347 worlds. He had seen species surrender after a single threatening transmission. He had watched entire civilizations evacuate their home planets rather than face the Council's wrath. Never, in his 2 centuries of service, had anyone sent him baked goods in response to a declaration of war. "Sir," Flux continued, his voice taking on the tone of someone delivering news about a terminal diagnosis, "there's more. Of course there is. They've been broadcasting something they call Earth radio into our communication networks. Our technicians initially thought it was some kind of psychological warfare, but analysis suggests it's actually entertainment programming." "Entertainment?" "Yes, sir. Something called reality television and true crime podcasts. Our xenopsychology department has filed 17 formal complaints about mental contamination after exposure to a program called Keeping Up with the Kardashians." Vex-Nine felt his secondary brain beginning to shut down in self-defense. Are they mocking us?" "That's just it, sir. All evidence suggests they're being completely sincere. They genuinely appear to be excited about the prospect of galactic warfare. Their global communication networks are filled with what they call memes about the situation." "Memes?" "Apparently it's a form of information warfare disguised as humor. Our analysts are still trying to understand how an image of a small furry creature with misspelled text can carry such psychological impact. The holographic display shifted to show a compilation of Earth's internet response to the Council's ultimatum. Vex-Nine watched in growing horror as humans created increasingly elaborate jokes about their impending doom. One particularly disturbing image showed a small organic creature stating this is fine while surrounded by flames. Sir, Flux continued, there's something else you need to see. I'm not sure my sanity can take much more. They've started sending us gift packages daily. The display updated to show the Council's loading dock, where a growing mountain of colorfully wrapped packages was being guarded by increasingly nervous security personnel. Each package bore cheerful labels with messages like "For our new galactic friends," and "Hope this brightens your day." What's in them? Food items, mostly. Something called chocolate that our biochemists insist should be toxic to most carbon-based life forms but somehow improves mood. Books of their literature. Music recordings, and Flux paused, clearly struggling with the next words. And what? Commander? And knitted sweaters, sir, with individual notes apologizing for any sizing issues due to uncertain alien body configurations. Vex-Nine stared at the display showing several Council security guards actually wearing the colorful garments. They looked simultaneously ridiculous and oddly comfortable. Has anyone bothered to test these items for biological weapons? Extensively, sir. The only harmful effect we've discovered is something the humans call diabetes from consuming too much of their sugar, and an inexplicable urge to protect the small furry creatures they call puppies. This is unprecedented, Vex-Nine muttered, beginning to pace in small circles around the holographic display. In the entire history of the Galactic Council, no species has ever responded to conquest with hospitality. What's their military status? That's complicated, sir. How complicated? Well, they don't appear to have a unified planetary military. Instead, they have something like 200 separate groups that spend most of their time arguing with each other about resource allocation and territorial boundaries. So they're divided. Excellent. We can exploit their disunity, sir. That's what we thought initially. But when we issued the ultimatum, something remarkable happened. They stopped fighting each other and started collaborating. Within 72 hours, they had established what they're calling the Earth Defense Pizza Party Planning Committee. Pizza Party Planning Committee? Yes, sir. Apparently, pizza is a food item they believe improves strategic thinking. The committee's first official act was to vote on what kind of music to play during the invasion. Vex-Nine felt reality slip another notch sideways. What kind of music? They couldn't reach consensus, so they created a playlist that includes everything from something called death metal to easy listening elevator music. They've been broadcasting it as a welcome to Earth gift for our invasion fleet. The holographic display updated to show the Council's mighty war fleet, currently drifting in Earth's outer solar system. What should have been an intimidating armada of destruction now looked oddly festive, with several ships actually synchronized to the bizarre rhythmic patterns of human music. Admiral Krex reports that crew morale has never been higher. Flux noted with the tone of someone reporting that water had started flowing upward. Apparently, something called funk music has significantly improved engine efficiency. How is that even possible? The humans included technical manuals with their cultural exchange packages. It turns out their musicians have been accidentally discovering harmonic frequencies that optimize warp core resonance patterns. Vex-Nine stopped pacing and stared directly at his subordinate. Are you telling me that Earth's entertainment industry has been independently developing advanced physics without realizing it? Yes, sir. Our engineers are particularly fascinated by something called dubstep, which apparently generates acoustic patterns that could revolutionize our shield technology. The implications crashed into Vex-Nine's consciousness like a freight train carrying anvils. What else have they sent us? Daily updates on their invasion preparation progress, sir. They've been treating it like some kind of collaborative project. Yesterday they sent blueprints for improved landing pad designs with suggestions for better traffic flow during the occupation. Show me. The hologram shifted to display architectural schematics that were simultaneously primitive and brilliant. The humans had somehow designed landing facilities that maximized efficiency while incorporating aesthetic elements that made them oddly welcoming. They've also included suggestions for cultural integration protocols, Flux continued. Apparently, they recommend something called a meet and greet barbecue followed by collaborative sports activities. They've specifically requested that our invasion force bring marshmallows for roasting. Marshmallows? A confectionery item they superheat over open flames for recreational consumption. Our food scientists are baffled by its complete lack of nutritional value and its apparent ability to generate what humans call happiness. Vex-Nine realized he was developing a twitch in his left primary eye. Commander, I need you to explain something to me. How exactly does a pre-warp civilization respond to an existential threat by trying to make friends with their potential destroyers? According to our xenopsychology teams, humans appear to have evolved a unique coping mechanism. When faced with overwhelming danger, instead of fighting or fleeing, they attempt to befriend the threat and invite it to social gatherings. That's insane, yes sir. But it's also remarkably effective. Half our invasion fleet is now asking for extended shore leave to attend something called Earth's Welcome Wagon Cookout. The humans have apparently organized hospitality committees in every major population center. The holographic display updated to show scenes from across Earth's surface, where humans were setting up what appeared to be massive outdoor celebration preparations. Banners reading "Welcome Galactic Visitors" fluttered alongside decorative lights strung between trees. Are those party decorations? Yes, sir. They've been treating our impending invasion as the social event of the millennium. There are waiting lists to volunteer for alien ambassador greeting committees. This is a military conquest, not a festival. Try explaining that to the humans, sir. They've sent us 17 different party planning schedules, including options for dietary restrictions we haven't even told them about yet. Vex-Nine felt his understanding of warfare, diplomacy, and basic logic crumble like a cookie left too long in milk. What do our strategic analysts recommend? They've requested immediate psychiatric evaluations, sir. 3 of them have submitted formal transfer requests to desk jobs in the Outer Rim. The senior analyst has started drinking something the humans sent called coffee and claims it's the only thing keeping him sane. Coffee? A mild stimulant beverage that humans consume in massive quantities. Our biochemists initially flagged it as a potential weapon due to its addictive properties, but it seems to primarily enhance cognitive function and generate what humans call productivity. The display showed analysis charts indicating improved performance metrics across the council staff who had been exposed to human coffee. Even more disturbing, many were now requesting regular supplies of the substance. Commander, I need options. We cannot allow one pre-warp species to undermine the entire foundation of Galactic Conquest Protocol. Well, sir, we could proceed with the original invasion plan, and, based on current intelligence, our forces would likely find themselves attending the largest interspecies cultural festival in galactic history, followed by a collaborative effort to improve galactic communication and friendship. The humans have already started learning our languages and preparing cultural appreciation presentations, meaning they want to perform something called interpretive dance representing their understanding of our various species' histories. Early reports suggest it's both completely inaccurate and oddly moving. Vex-Nine stared at the holographic display, watching human figures practicing elaborate dance routines apparently inspired by their completely wrong assumptions about alien culture. Somehow, their earnest attempts at honoring species they'd never met were more touching than any formal diplomatic ceremony he'd ever attended. Sir, there's one more thing. At this point, Commander, I'm not sure anything could surprise me further. They've invited the entire Galactic Council to what they call Earth's first annual Interplanetary Friendship Festival. The invitation specifically mentions that attendance is voluntary, but they're really hoping we'll come because they've prepared so many fun activities and snacks. The universe officially stopped making sense. 3 weeks later, Ambassador Vex-Nine stood in what used to be the Council's most secure briefing room. Now decorated with colorful streamers, and something humans called balloon animals. The transformation would have been comical if it weren't so terrifying. Status report. Commander Flux, he said, though his voice lacked its usual authority. Hard to maintain dignity when surrounded by inflatable pink elephants. Sir, the situation has escalated beyond all predictable parameters. Flux replied, consulting a tablet that now bore a cheerful sticker reading Galaxy's Best Commander. Earth's friendship offensive has achieved total victory without firing a single shot. Define total victory. Our entire invasion fleet has requested permanent reassignment to Earth's orbital defense network. Admiral Krex submitted his resignation this morning to accept a position as Earth's Director of Interstellar Barbecue Relations. Vex-Nine's mandibles clicked in what his therapist would later identify as acute stress response. And the Council's response? High Chancellor Vorth has called an emergency session to discuss the Earth problem. Although she's now referring to it as the Earth opportunity after receiving what humans call a care package containing something called chocolate chip cookies and a handwritten note asking about her favorite hobbies. The holographic display activated, showing the Council's grand chamber where the galaxy's most powerful beings were currently seated around tables covered with checkered tablecloths. Several were wearing party hats. Why are they wearing festive headgear during a crisis meeting? The humans sent emergency morale boosters, sir. Apparently they detected stress patterns in our public communications and responded with what they call comfort supplies. On screen, High Chancellor Vorth stood to address the assembly, her usual intimidating presence somewhat undermined by the bright yellow hat decorated with small dancing bears. Fellow council members, she began, her voice carrying across the chamber, we face an unprecedented situation. Species designation human has successfully neutralized our military superiority through tactics we cannot comprehend or counter. What tactics? Demanded General Vex-4, whose species had conquered half the known galaxy through strategic superiority. His question was slightly muffled by the party hat covering his primary vocal aperture. Kindness, Chancellor Vorth replied, the word hanging in the air like an unexploded bomb. They've weaponized basic decency and turned our invasion into a social gathering. Our psychological warfare department has officially surrendered. Surrendered? General Vex-4's secondary heads all turned toward the Chancellor simultaneously. Dr. Flux Prime submitted a formal report stating that human memes have broken down the fundamental assumptions underlying galactic military strategy. Half our psychological operations staff are now requesting extended therapy and the other half want to emigrate to Earth. The display shifted to show Dr. Flux Prime's official report, which was written in colorful markers and included several drawings of what appeared to be smiling stick figures holding hands around a planet. Furthermore, Chancellor Vorth continued, Earth's thank you note has been analyzed by our top cryptographers, linguists, and strategic analysts. Their unanimous conclusion is that it contains no hidden meanings, subliminal messages, or tactical deceptions. The humans genuinely meant every word. That's impossible, declared Senator Vex-12, whose species had perfected the art of diplomatic doublespeak over millennia. No civilization achieves interstellar notice without developing sophisticated deception protocols. Unless, Chancellor Vorth replied slowly, they're too advanced for us to recognize their deception, or they're telling the truth. The silence that followed was broken only by the gentle squeaking of balloon animals slowly deflating. Commander Flux leaned closer to Vex-9. Sir, there's something else. Earth has begun broadcasting what they call educational programming throughout the galaxy. What kind of educational programming? They're teaching other species how to make friends. Vex-9 felt reality take another sharp turn into the impossible. Show me. The hologram updated to display a cheerful human female standing in front of a colorful background, but speaking directly to the camera with the kind of enthusiasm usually reserved for religious ceremonies or major sporting events. Hi there, galactic neighbors, she said, waving energetically. I'm Jenny Martinez, and welcome to Making Friends Across the Stars. Today we're going to learn about something called active listening and how it can help resolve conflicts without anyone getting vaporized. She's teaching conflict resolution? Vex-Nine asked weakly. Gets worse, sir. The program has become the most popular broadcast in galactic history. 17 different species have already implemented her suggestions for improving interspecies communication through shared meals and recreational activities. The display showed footage from across the galaxy where various alien species were attempting to recreate human social customs. The Vex Collective had organized their first ever pizza party, while the warlike Grex Empire had replaced their traditional battle cries with something called team-building exercises. Sir, Flux continued, the humans have also established what they call the Galactic Friendship Initiative. They're sending volunteer cultural ambassadors to every council member world. Volunteer ambassadors? Yes, sir. Humans who want to make new friends and learn about cool alien cultures. They've been arriving in small groups with gifts, translation devices, and what they call activity suggestions. The hologram showed scenes of humans arriving on various worlds, immediately engaging with local populations through a combination of charades, shared meals, and something called group singing. The results were uniformly positive, with local populations responding to human enthusiasm with their own versions of welcoming behavior. How are they getting to these worlds? They don't have interstellar travel capability. They're hitchhiking, sir. Hitchhiking? Hitchhiking? Our own military transports have been volunteering to give them rides. Captain Vex-7 reported that having humans aboard improved crew morale so significantly that engine efficiency increased by 23%. Because of the music? Actually, sir, it's something called optimism. Humans apparently generate a measurable field of positive expectation that affects the behavior of everyone around them. Our xenobiologists think it might be some kind of evolutionary adaptation. The holographic display shifted to show technical readouts measuring what Earth scientists called hope radiation, a previously unknown energy signature that seemed to emanate from human social gatherings and somehow improve the performance of nearby technology. They're accidentally terraforming our psychology, Vex-9 muttered. It gets more complex, sir. Earth's Friendship Initiative has begun solving long-standing galactic conflicts. The 1,000-year war between the Hex Alliance and the Vex Federation ended last week when both sides attended a human-organized peace picnic. A picnic ended a 1,000-year war, apparently. The conflict originated from a translation error that made each side think the other was insulting their traditional cuisine. The humans introduced them to something called fusion cooking, where both cultures' foods are combined into new dishes. Now they're planning to open a chain of restaurants together. The display showed former enemies laughing together while sharing colorful plates of food that looked like it had been designed by someone who thought the laws of physics were more like gentle suggestions. Commander, I need to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. Yes, sir. Are we the villains in this scenario? Flux's mandibles twitched in what his species used instead of uncomfortable shifting. Sir. That's exactly what Dr. Flux Prime wrote in her resignation letter before requesting immigration papers for Earth. Show me. Yeah. The hologram displayed a handwritten note that somehow managed to look both official and personal. Dear Galactic Council. It read, after extensive analysis of human behavior patterns, I have concluded that our standard approach to interspecies relations has been fundamentally flawed. We have been operating under the assumption that conquest and domination represent the highest form of civilization, when in fact they may represent the lowest. The humans have demonstrated that cooperation, kindness, and genuine interest in others' well-being create far more stable and prosperous outcomes than fear-based hierarchies. I am therefore submitting my resignation to study their methods firsthand. Also, they promised to teach me how to make something called pancakes which smell amazing. Respectfully, Dr. Flux Prime. Sir, Flux continued, Earth has officially responded to our military ultimatum with an invitation to join something called the Intergalactic Cooperative for Mutual Awesomeness. That's not a real governmental structure. They don't seem to care, sir. Their proposal includes detailed plans for technology sharing, cultural exchange programs, and something called the annual Galactic Olympics, where different species compete in both traditional and newly invented sports. The hologram showed architectural plans for massive sports complexes designed to accommodate the physical requirements of hundreds of different species, complete with what appeared to be food courts offering cuisine from across the galaxy. They want to turn galactic politics into recreational activities? More than that, sir. They're proposing a complete restructuring of interstellar civilization based on what they call collaborative fun. Instead of resource extraction and territorial expansion, they suggest focusing on making cool stuff together and having good times. Vex-Nine stared at the display, which now showed detailed economic projections demonstrating how Earth's proposed system would actually generate more prosperity and technological advancement than the current conquest-based model. Are their projections accurate? Our economists have run the numbers 17 times, sir. Earth's cooperative for mutual awesomeness would increase galactic prosperity by approximately 400% within 50 standard cycles. How is that possible? Apparently, when species aren't spending resources on military domination and defensive preparations, they can focus on innovation and creativity. The humans call it not being jerks to each other. The implications were staggering. The Galactic Council had spent millennia perfecting systems of control and domination, never considering that cooperation might be more effective. Good sir, there's one final development. Tell me. Earth's President Martinez has invited you personally to attend their first annual Galactic Friendship Festival. The invitation includes a handwritten note asking about your dietary preferences and whether you'd be interested in participating in something called karaoke. Vex-Nine looked at the invitation, written on paper that seemed to shimmer with genuine warmth. Below the formal text, someone had drawn a small picture of what appeared to be various alien species holding hands around Earth, with the words "Hope to see you there," written in careful, colorful letters. Commander, prepare my personal transport, sir. Are you actually going to attend a human party? I'm going to surrender, Commander. The humans have achieved something we thought impossible. They've conquered us without violence, converted our military through kindness, and offered us something we never knew we wanted. What's that, sir? Friends, Commander. They've offered us friends. The holographic display showed real-time footage from Earth, where humans of all ages were working together to prepare for the arrival of beings they'd never met, driven by nothing more than excitement about making new friends and sharing their world. As Vex-Nine watched children painting welcome signs in languages they'd learned just to greet alien visitors, he realized that humanity had achieved something far more powerful than military conquest. They had made the idea of hurting them emotionally impossible. Commander, send a message to the High Chancellor. The Galactic Council formally accepts Earth's invitation to join their cooperative for mutual awesomeness. And our invasion fleet? Redirect them to party planning duties. If we're going to surrender to a species that weaponized friendship, we might as well learn from the best. The universe, it turned out, had been waiting a very long time for someone to suggest that maybe, just maybe, being nice to each other was a better plan than conquest. Earth had sent a thank you note in response to a death threat and accidentally revolutionized galactic civilization. Some victories, Vex-Nine reflected as he prepared to attend his first human party, are won not through superior firepower, but through superior heart. And humans, apparently, had more heart than the rest of the galaxy combined. The last image on the holographic display showed Earth's night side, now dotted with millions of lights spelling out messages of welcome in hundreds of alien languages, and prepared by humans who had learned to say hello and were glad you're here to species they'd never met. It was, Vex-Nine admitted to himself, the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen, and somewhere in the back of his mind he was already wondering what this karaoke thing might involve.